Hi, everybody. It's Andre from the Eaglesoft Field Guide. I am joined today with somebody who I admire a whole lot, and I've got a chance to see live a couple times speak. And most people who know me know that I love customer service. I'm actually joined today with Lee Cockerell, and Lee is the former executive vice president of operations for the Walt Disney World Resort. And that means a lot to me because I get to go to the park a lot. And I've only been once with my family, sad to say, but I've been 30 plus times for business. So, but Lee, as the senior operating executive for 10 years, led more than 40,000 cast members and was responsible for the operations of 20 of the hotel resorts, resort hotels, 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, a shopping and entertainment village, and the ESPN sports and recreation complex. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's enough, probably.
I hate when people have to read my resume. All right, and the last time I got to see you was back in October of 2015. I never forget it because that was as I was putting in my papers to retire. That was my last trip at the company that I got a chance to see you at that event. So that was a lot of fun. So, and if anybody wants to connect with Lee, his website is Lee Cockerell, which is LeeCockerell.com. And hey, you know, I do a lot of speaking gigs around the country, and this is a guy who, if anybody's out there looking for somebody to present to their group, this is a guy who really puts on a really good program, and I had a great time. So glad to have you here.
Well, thank you. I already promised you I go to the dentist twice a year. So,
well, you know what? You are now our best friend because that's the kind of people we love.
Right.
So, you know, what I really want to talk to you about is, I'm a big fan of promoting your book, and Lee's book is called Creating Magic. I mean, if anybody's ever seen me speak or heard me in a podcast, this is one of the top 10 books I recommend. It's called Creating Magic, 10 Common Sense Leadership Strategies from the Life at Disney. And this is one of the books that I love, and Lee's got a couple other books that he's written since then. I guess that was an older book, right?
It was the first one, yeah.
Okay, cool. And this is one that I recommend because one of the things that I found is that there was a study guide that went along with it. And I always thought that was a great way. I've had offices who've used that as like a summer read and then sort of test their employees with the guidebook when they come back. So I'm happy to have that as part of my my daily routine.
Thank you.
Cool. So a couple things I want to find out from you is, you know, I heard you on, and Lee has a really good podcast. I heard you talking about with what we're going through with the coronavirus, what this is going to look like going back to business, what our patients should expect, how we should approach our patients, some of the advice that you give about when we come back into this post-COVID, well, we're not post, but post-opening environment. And you're in Florida. Florida was hit pretty hard. I'm in the Northeast. I'm 2 hours from New York City. We were hit pretty hard in our area. What should we think about? What are some of the things that you would talk to my doctors about? How would you approach this new feeling for our patients coming back?
Well, I think there's no question that every business, whether it's dental or airline or Disney, better be real clear about safety. You know, I mean, really, at the end of the day, what do people, I always say, what do parents worry about the most with their kids? Number 1, safety. Number 2, education. And if you don't get those 2 right, you know, people, I mean, there's some people that are reckless, no question, but you don't want to be in that category. I mean, at Disney, safety at Disney is all we talk about because, first of all, it's probably the number 1 responsibility you have if you run a business or if you're a parent. And second, it's really not a good idea to have safety issues in the newspaper about your product. That's all we need to hear is in the New York Times something unsafe going on at Disney, or they weren't paying attention, or they weren't enforcing their policies, their new ones, their rules, their regulations. And the other thing is you got to communicate them. Americans don't hear things very well. They kind of brush over things. It's kind of, you got to kind of be like your mom. You just got to keep telling them over and over and over till they get it. I think some people are paying attention, some are not.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing cases really rise significantly in Florida and Orange County where we live, and they're on the rise, and I can tell because the traffic's getting worse. So people are out and about and they're not paying attention, and I'm shocked at the number of people who just won't put a mask on. As they said, it's for me, not for you. And so I think that you got to really understand safety. You got to be thinking about it. You got to be figuring out how can you communicate it in a way that makes people feel confident that you're somebody they can really trust. At the end of the day, life's about trust. And you can't just say things. It's got to be obvious when they show up at the office. It's got to, you got to have a system for checking in and maybe waiting in the car, or a separate entrance and exit, or an isolated room you wait in, or I'm sure there's many things. And if you're reading the paper every day and paying attention, you can pick up all those ideas from other people. You don't have to dream them up yourself. And some of them may be excessive, some may be cosmetic, but, people want to see. They want to see things. You just can't tell them. They can't see the disinfectant. Right. They can't see the virus. They've got to see in their brain that what you're saying is true. And teach everybody in your office, too, by the way. They got to be the best examples of role modeling. I mean, they got to have the mask on, not halfway off their nose, and nonsensical stuff you're seeing out there today. So I would say role modeling, people want to see it, and they want to hear about it, and they probably want to hear about it over and over, and they want to be reminded. So you can tell them when they call for an appointment. You can tell them again when you can send them an email the day before. You can send them a text. You can call them. You can have the day of. I mean, you just do what you have to do, because the quicker you can get confidence, the quicker the word's going to get out, and you're going to be a whole lot more successful. That's the biggest issue. It's not about, it's, can I trust you? That's all I think about right now. Yeah. And, some people are not implementing very well. My wife was going to go get her pedicure or haircut, and she called them and asked them what precautions they had in place. And they said, well, we have you sign a form releasing liability. And my wife said, that doesn't protect me. That protects you. And the lady said, oh, yeah, right. I mean, come on. They weren't taking temperatures while the hairdresser was. And a lot of people are just not on it. Yeah. And a lot of these people are individual proprietors that maybe not be paying attention or think they can get away with it. I don't know what they're thinking. Now, the big companies are all over it because they got 25 lawyers looking at it. Yeah. And so that's the kind of things I think about is safety, education, and communication, and convince me that you want me to come and get my teeth cleaned, or I had an appointment to get mine clean, and I'm going to get that whitening 2-hour session done. And I'm about ready to do that because they've convinced me through some exchange of communication that they've got it all set up properly. And so.
One of the things that you said in your podcast, and I thought that was really interesting for dentists in particular, were, this is a great opportunity to clean up, reorganize some things, that cup of pins that used to sit at the desk. This is a good time to get rid of that kind of stuff, to get rid of the magazines, some of the clutter that exists. But this is a great time to utilize this as an excuse to redo some of those things. So again, confidence. So people coming in don't see a lot of things that may have been touched. Those are the kind of things that we can utilize,
And a good time to see if you are still hanging on to employees that are not very good.
That's a great point. Let's go deeper into that, because, one of the things I talk about all the time is, there has to be the right person. My company's called Crew, so it's all about the right person on the boat, same idea, but having the right people in the right place. And this is a great idea that if somebody doesn't meet your criteria, your philosophy of care, this is a great opportunity for them to find another boat to be in.
Absolutely. And I just did a podcast, or I'm going to do it. I have a course coming up, and we talk about how patients or customers arrive at your business. The first time they arrive is usually by phone.
Right.
And as you just said, do you have the right person on that phone? That sounds like they care, and you're not just a pain and they're rushed. And the next time they arrive is at the parking lot and the office and the website, and checking in, and then going in and seeing either the person to get their teeth cleaned or to see the dentist. You arrive half a dozen times, and each one of those arrivals has got to be like, okay, this is great. Not just walking in the office. That's, a lot of people say, well, that's the arrival. We know at Disney, you arrive when you think about coming to Disney from the commercials. You arrive when you call in. You arrive on the website. You arrive when you're trying to book your reservation, when you pull up in the porte-cochere, when you check in, when you go to your room, when you go to restaurants, when you get on a bus. We try to remind everybody that we all have an arrival experience, and it needs to be great each time, not just that first time because you happen to show up at the porte-cochere.
I love that. Yeah. Consistency and arrival. I love that concept.
Yeah, it's arrival. That's probably, when you think about it, arrival is the most stressful time in anything. Getting on the plane and getting in line, all these arrivals, how well are they done? And does everybody along the way care about you?
Well, do you have
I always
any
tell
tips?
people, think about this as your grandmother coming. How do you want her to be treated?
That's it.
How do you want her to feel when she calls you or comes in or waits in the car, or your grandmother or your daughter or your wife? Let me tell you, think about that. And then you're gonna do the right thing.
Hold on for 1 second, Lee. I've got to cut this out. My camera just dropped out. Let's see what happened.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. Technology, Monday morning technology. So I'll edit that part out, but I'll keep your part. But let's see. Don't you love technology?
No. That's why I don't use PowerPoint. I just talk.
Let's see. Let's try another way here.
Yeah. Do you use video when you publish?
I do. When this goes out, it'll be video.
Okay.
But not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because they want to see you more than they want to see me anyway. They know who they've seen
They
me.
see you every week.
Yeah, I'll put a little cardboard picture up there. My little cartoon character. That's all they care about. Well, we're going to keep going.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll see if that comes back on in a second. So anyway, I'm going to go back to this. So here's a couple questions I wanted to ask you. You were going down this road, and I think we'll continue going down this road. What are some of the tips that you would give for building a cast? I'll use your term, a cast that sort of all fits in with the same philosophy, the same way of thinking. How do you get that to happen? Is it through training? Is it through a policy manual? Give me some ideas.
Yeah, I think it happens at Disney in three ways. First, we hire better. Mm-hmm. We're much more careful. We have a whole screening process to see how you're wired, and so I say people hire too fast. At Disney, we say, hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
And take your time. Sometimes when I was looking for an executive, I'd take 6-7 months, literally, because I want that person for life, and I don't want to make a mistake. And what's more important than your people? Really, at the end of the day, that your people are your brand. You can get a dentist anywhere.
Yeah.
But can you get a dentist where you just it's no hassle? You go there, they do what they say they're going to do. there's two, you can have a great experience or a bad one. And it's up to how much you want it. It's a state of mind. So I would say hire them right. Be very clear, clarity of expectations when you're talking to them about joining your company. I mean, total clarity on there is no room here for being rude, for having that look on your face, for not speaking properly to the guests, no matter how much they annoy you. I always said Mickey likes everybody because everybody has a credit card. So we want you, and we don't care if you're upset. We'll be nice. As my granddaughter said, the most important thing in customer service is be nice. And you don't have the right to not be nice to a customer. It's not, they can be whatever they want to be. You don't know the 10 problems they had today before they came in. It's not about you. It's about their life. So something's wrong. They're not happy. Who knows? And so hire them right. And then second, training them right. And part of this training is clarity of expectations. And most of that is not only technical. I mean, that's the easy part, teaching them how to answer the phone, teaching them how to fill out the next appointment form, calling the patient. The most important training is behavior, attitude. If you get the attitude and behavior right, most of the guests don't, they'll put up with a lot if you're nice to them.
Yeah. And
if you got a great attitude. I dropped out of college and somebody said, how were you successful? I said, because I got a good attitude. Because if you don't have a college degree, you better have a good attitude. It's true. So that was I think it's 80% of success in life. These people like this, in a lot of doctors' offices, I think half the time the dentist doesn't even know what's going on out there, that they're not being nice and they're being a pain in the neck and they don't like their job. And the dentist is putting on a show just like Disney. And that show does not have room for rudeness. It doesn't have room for not being great at everything. And so the dentist has got to make sure he's got clarity around what it looks like, what the show's going to be like, the script, what you can say, what you can't say, and then enforce it. Mr. Marriott told me you can't have excellence without education and enforcement. And at the end of the day, the third is culture. We create a culture at Disney where people wake up in the morning, want to come to work, not have to, because the way we listen to them, their opinion counts. We want to hear from them. We treat everybody well because there is no upside to mistreating people. There is no upside to mistreating your wife, by the way, in case you want a good hint there. There is nothing good can come of this. And nothing good can come of being not very professional and kind and with your patients. I mean, really, it's like you got to be an idiot to think being rude to a patient is a good thing. That is not a good thing. And if it happens, it's the dentist's fault. It's his practice. I always tell people, if you got a problem in your business, it's your fault. Don't blame the receptionist. Don't blame the guy who cleans the room. Don't blame the supply guy who's supposed to do this or that. It's your fault.
Well, and this goes back to one of the big questions that people have, and it's funny because from a customer service standpoint, I'm always thinking, how do we fix the problem? And I hear so many of the technical things of how do we get our reviews better? Well, you get the reviews better when you fix the problem.
Do better, you'll get better.
Amen.
It's not hard to figure out what the review is telling you. It shouldn't happen more than once. Come on. Yeah. If you're getting constant reviews that people are not paying attention to you and they're making mistakes, you got to deal with that person. It's a person. It's not everybody. Usually one or two people can create all the problems in your business. And you let them do it because, they've been here a long time and it's hard to find people. And you go down that path, you'll you lose patients one at a time. They go somewhere else.
Yeah. And it's funny. There's no room for Cinderella to be out of costume.
Yeah, exactly. Cinderella's teeth are perfect, by the way.
That's it. That's I check her every time.
But that's true. You just got to think about, we're putting on a show. Are we putting on a hit show, or do we have a lot of rehearsal we need to do because we don't have it right?
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, Get the magazines out of there, put the right signage up, maybe put 3 TVs in there so people can watch different channels so they don't have a magazine anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't be in there in the first place. Maybe they should stay in the car. Maybe they have a waiting room downstairs. I don't know. Every location's different, but
this is what the
dentist has got to think about. It's more than the teeth. The teeth is the least of your problems. So anyway,
Exactly.
that's hire them right, train them right, and treat them right. And the ones that aren't doing the job, you got to make those hard decisions.
Yeah.
You can coach them, you can turn them around, but if they don't shape up, you got to do what you got to do. Just like your mother, she put up with it for a while, but if you don't straighten out, she's gonna deal with you.
Well, and here, question for you is, I love recommending your book to offices. What would you say are some of your favorite customer service books?
Well, to me, customer service is kind of a state of mind. And I look for I think the best way you can learn about customer service is be observant as you go to your favorite places. Why do you go there? What do you see? Do you like the way they welcome you? You like the way they're knowledgeable? You like the way they handle problems when they happen? And, but I started out, the best book that made me think about it was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, for me to start paying attention, for me to get better myself. There's a million customer service books. And the one I wrote one, The Customer Rules. And basically every rule in there doesn't cost anything. It's as my granddaughter said, be nice. Yeah. My grandson said, be the giving one. Watch your tongue. It's a strong muscle. Don't use it inappropriately and hurt somebody. Look for ideas everywhere. Make your people your brand. Yeah. Look at your people and say, would you like to deal with these people if you were coming to the dentist? And get involved so you know what's going on out there. Yeah. My wife's told me many times she actually believes the doctor or the dentist is not really quite aware that what's going on out front. And if you're not aware, you're not going to change it. And if you don't change it, you're going to slowly lose customers because it's word of mouth business. When somebody moves to Orlando, what do they ask me? Can you recommend a dentist? Can you recommend a doctor, an internist? It's the same old stuff. Referral is huge. And also, I would say focus on children. Learn about how to focus on kids. Pay attention to Disney. If somebody brings their kid in, you got a chance really to seal the deal with mom. Yeah. Because nothing makes parents happier than their kids being treated right. There's a million books out there, but I think too many people are trying to read the ones that you got to spend lots of money on training. You don't. No. You don't need an annual review for people. You need to deal with them when something happens. Your mother didn't have an annual review for you. She, if it was 2 p.m, she kicked your butt and then said, "I love you." That's but you just got to you got to tell people the truth, and you got to deal with the truth. That's your job, and that's your responsibility. And if there's something guests don't like, or you're getting complaints, you need to figure out how to change that. Yeah. And might cost you some money, might not. Mostly it won't.
And one of the things one of the lessons I learned from you, I learned it through the years, but you kind of brought me back to it, was hire good people working for you who then look out for your best interest. You don't have to be the best at what you do. As long as you've got the best people surrounding you, right? They can fill in the cracks.
I tell people I didn't have a clue what was going on at Disney, but I had people who did. And, the dentist he doesn't have to be able to do all those things out front, but he needs to be aware that he's got the very best people that are committed. They're going to go all the way for him and for the patients. And that means a good attitude no matter what. And if you can't have a good attitude, stay home today. Don't come in if you can't control yourself.
Well, Lee, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. This has been like me meeting one of my heroes. So this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and like I said, everybody, I'm going to put a link in the notes to Lee's website, and hopefully everybody will get a chance to see you in person, because that's a thrill of a lifetime. And being your friend on Facebook's been a blast too. So.
Yeah, just tell everybody it's not hard to be great. You just got to want to be.
Awesome, awesome advice. Well, enjoy yourself. Have a good day, and tell your grandkids thanks for their advice too.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.